It's not so secret that IRCC says it now takes around 10 years to process your applications. As people say, let's address the elephant in the room, the processing times. You as the main applicant can have only one H&C application ongoing at any time. Canada is home for him, so it doesn't take 10 years. It's just from the experience. Hello everyone, my name is Ekaterina Andoni and I'm a licensed immigration consultant working at Evernorth Canada. We help immigrants who want to come to Canada to study, get a PR, get a citizenship, or a work permit. So we help you with every part of your immigration journey should you wish to come to Canada. In today's video, we're going to discuss the Humanitarian and Compassionate application program. All of the tips and tricks. We're going to address the rumors about the timelines, why these timelines are published. It's not so secret that IRCC says it now takes around 10 years to process your application since the time when you apply. If it's true or not, what IRCC is looking at when they review your file, and how to make the application stronger. During the video, we're gonna do the timestamps that can help you navigate. For example, if you know the answer to this question or you wanna get any details on a particular topic that you're interested in, you would be able to jump through the timestamps. It's gonna be easier to navigate the video for you. If you're going to be having some questions afterwards, please don't hesitate to leave them in our comment section. We go through the questions and collect them for the next video. So most probably your answer going to appear in our next video, so stay tuned for that. So let's start with the basics. What this application means, who qualifies, and is it the first option that you turn to? So going step by step, the humanitarian application, it's the PR application that in the end, if successful, gives you the status of the permanent resident in Canada. The good thing is that it is discretionary. What it means that there is no specific checklist or specific rule that the officer needs to apply in order to determine if you qualify. For example, in Express Entry, there is a strict checklist. If you have points, if you claimed points for education, for work experience, it means that the officer would mandatorily be expecting you to have the set of documents confirming and backing up all of the information that you got points for. It is completely opposite in the humanitarian and compassionate application, because even though the checklist exists, it doesn't list all of the documents that can apply to your case, meaning that even if you don't have much, the officers still would think of your story. They would check what reasons you had to apply. They would dive deep into what was happening in your life before. Everything that you include in your package would be assessed by the officer. The next thing that the officer would be checking is your establishment in Canada. And here, if you have family applying with you, your family members, they're going to take a look at every single applicant and your family as a whole. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, how long have you been here? How long have you stayed in Canada? So what does the establishment mean? It means that you have a long connection with your employer, let's say, right? You've worked here for so long, you established connections with your employer, with the co-workers, you paid taxes all of the time, like you never got any social assistance, so you were self-sufficient. Your kids have been going to school, so they have connections to the school and to the classmates. They have their own support system within the school, so that's an important thing as well. Your friendships, they also matter. If you are part of the religious community, for example, the church that you attend regularly, that's awesome as well. You need to include every detail there, just to show that you are connected not only within your own family and your own set of friends here in Canada, you're connected to the community as a whole. So the more evidence that you can collect, the better. And in terms of evidence, for the employment, of course, you're going to need to show that you've been worked for all the time since you came to Canada. Like you never asked for the social assistance. That's an important factor as well. That's why we're mentioning it twice. It's an important thing. So get a support letter from your employer, from some of the co-workers. Get support letters from your religious community, maybe from the religious leader, if they can attest that they've seen your relationship with the fellow church members grow and flourish, and how you establish connections. So all of the aspects of the establishment in Canada would be counted. And here it's not only because of the time, like not only time is important. is important. Like if you've been social, if you did something useful to the community as well, if you did any volunteering, if you helped someone, if your achievements are recognized by the community somehow, if you have any letters of support in that reference, also bring everything in. It would attest to how well you are integrated. The next thing is hardship if you are facing removal from Canada. So what it means that if you are removed and if you need to leave Canada by the result of this application and you need to return back home, you or your family members would face disproportionate hardship to reintegrate back into the community back home. So going deeper in what it means, just judging like by how the application is named, it's humanitarian and compassionate application, right? So it means it is not human to remove you from Canada and to send you back home. Also, very important thing, your desire to stay in Canada for a better life for your children is not enough. The economic stability of Canada in comparison to your home country is not enough to pass that hardship test. A good example would be in the case where you've been here, let's say for 5 years, right? You came as a student, then you started working, you have a family here, you have a child who was coming with you to Canada when he was just a baby. Now 5 years passed, so the child does not even remember how the life was when you lived back home. So he speaks English fluently, he even thinks in English, everything is so familiar, so Canada is home for him. During the application processing, it may take, a few years. That's something we're going to discuss, a bit further. But still, like during the processing, the child is more integrated here. You're more integrated. So if all of a sudden you and your kids need to go back home, it would be a bit easier for you to integrate back because the majority of your life you spent back home. So for you, it's going to be a bit easier. But for the kid who does not even remember how your homeland looks, it's going to be very hard. Maybe he doesn't even speak or know your native language good enough to go to school. So all of these details should be considered and properly documented. If you don't have kids, it doesn't mean that you will not pass the hardship test. It simply means that you need to give more context to the immigration officer when you apply, right? If there was a war in your country and your country is in humanitarian crisis, yeah, you can go back, but you don't have the means to establish a stable life there, just because even the water supply may be not even working. So all of the details that might be obvious to you should be properly explained and documented for the officer, because the officer might not even check the news, what's happening all over the world on a regular basis. He might not even know the details, so it's your job to provide the context and give him all of the details. Even the articles about what's happening in your country, links to the legal sources, everything would help him understand and get the better picture why, if you need to go back, you're going to experience hardship. So going back to the discretionary nature of the application, just because there is no strict rule on who qualifies, gives you the opportunity to convince the officer that your circumstances deserve to be heard and seen, and you deserve to be granted the PR based on your unique situation. But at the same time, it comes with a challenge that you need to convince the officer, like you need to have enough grounds for your application to be successful. So in this case, you need to not to address to this application as your first option, just because you want to stay in Canada and maybe you have good prospects of life here. Like that's not the reason that the officer would expect you to have. Right, you need to convince the officer that you deserve to be granted this exemption. So it's not the application that you assess first. So if you qualify under any other economic immigration program, for example, Express Entry, Provincial Nominee Program, or anything else, do the assessment for these options first. If none of these apply and you have unique circumstances, that's when it's time to assess the chances for the good humanitarian application. One important thing to consider, you as the main applicant can have only one H&C application ongoing at any time. So that's an important thing, as I know there are some clients who applied previously for the H&C, their case is ongoing, something in their circumstances changed, and they want to apply again, to have like a second application in process. That's a huge no-no. That's something that you need to address immediately. If you have submitted a second application by any chance, you need to withdraw it, just to make sure you have only one ongoing file at any times, not to create any confusion for the IRCC. So now, since we know that this application is discretionary in nature, meaning that the officer has the right to determine whether you basically deserve the PR to be granted or not, we can move on to what can make your application stronger, right? Like what things the IRCC would be really looking at when doing the assessment of your file. And the first thing that they're going to be checking is, are there any kids involved in the application? So they would be checking the best interest of a child. Not necessarily it needs to be your child involved, because there might be single applicants applying or a couple with no kids applying. There would be no bias towards them, but still the officer would be checking if in your life there are any children, doesn't matter if they're Canadian or foreign nationals, but who involve in your daily life, who would be affected negatively in case the PR is not granted and you need to go back home. So this is first and foremost a thing that you need to think of. If you have your own kids, that's awesome. You can tell that, yeah, like if the child is really established in Canada and removed from this system, the Canadian system, that's very common for him, like that's something that he, maybe grew up with, because you've stayed in Canada for quite a while. Of course, when removed from the country, he's going to be negatively impacted. So your own kids for sure should be included, but still think of the kids of your family members and friends. If you are very close to any of these kids, you can also include their information in the file and mention them in the story, because every child before 18 would be checked and assessed. Now let's move on to the question that was the most triggering and the most interesting. As people say, let's address the elephant in the room, the processing times. Yeah, like it's not a secret that IRCC published that if you apply right now and submit your application under the H&C grounds, it will take IRCC around 10 years to process it. Unfortunately, that's the timeline that was legally calculated by the IRCC, and how did they get there is just having a backlog of the inventory, as simple as that. So when it was the end of 2024, there were studies and checks on the inventory regarding these specific applications, and they had around 45,000 applications waiting in line for the assessment. So because these files are complex and you submit a lot of documents, proportionally it takes a longer time for the officer to check every single document, do the assessment of your file before they grant you the decision. And the fact is why it always took longer, but why it takes longer now, because of the backlog and because it takes 2 steps for the officer before they grant you the PR. So first of all, they check if you deserve to get an exemption under the H&C grounds, meaning that if your story is valid enough and if your hardship would be enough, to grant these PR, right? And only after this first stage approval, when they say yes, we do believe that you should get the PR under the H&C grounds, they move to the second procedure where they do the regular assessment, meaning that they check your criminal background, they check your medical background, they do just all of the regular steps for every PR process, making sure you are not a threat to public and making sure that you're healthy enough and do not pose any risks to Canada. So that's why it takes 2 steps for the officer to grant you the decision, plus there was a huge backlog. In reality, I don't see that the applications tend to take that long. No, and I would not say it will stay like this, because it's outrageous and a lot of complaints are happening because of these timelines. So I see that IRCC is really trying to process the applications faster than they post online. So as of now, from the experience, what I can tell is it takes around 2 years from the time when you submit by the time when you get the first stage approval. So it doesn't take 10 years. Hopefully it will not take 10 years and even 5 years. So most likely they will stay within this 2.5 year timeline. Don't quote me on that, because it's just from the experience. But in 90% of the cases that I see, that I hear from people, it's around 2.5 years. So if you were planning to submit the application, but the only setback that was holding you back was the long processing time, don't be afraid. If you have merits to apply, if your story is good enough, I would still encourage you to do so. But in order for us to do the assessment and make sure your story deserves to be heard and seen, and you deserve to get the PR under these specific exemption, book a consultation with us once again, and we would be happy to do the assessment and check. Once you apply, we're gonna keep an eye on the application, update the IRCC on any developments, because the time flies, and you might get additional developments in your story, and this is something that should be addressed and should be added to the application. So we know all of the tips and tricks, so if you're interested, just book a consultation with us, and we're gonna be happy to help. And the last but not least important factor to consider is your family ties to Canada. This is important if you have any family members who are already PRs or Canadian citizen, even distant relatives. Also, think to include in your application that's gonna look beneficial. It's gonna show to the officer that you already have a part of your family who are an inseparable part of Canada, right? Because they already have their permanent status, and you just want to join the family or have the entire family stay united. That, for example, if you were to go back home, you would not have that option to stay united with these relatives, your siblings, your aunts and uncles, cousins. Even these distant relatives are also considered, because the family relationship, your friendship that feels like family, also can be included and should be included. We have way more tips and tricks how to make the application stronger, how to put the best argument forward. So if you need help, because right now we're just discussing a fraction of what we know and how we can help, so book a consultation with us, and we would be happy to do a complex assessment of your file and help you apply for the best way possible.